Alright, guys, welcome back. Just doing another video. This one is okay. One Nation might be okay. Let's see what this guy's talking about today.
Candidate. They need to run him in New England, where he is massively popular.
And they cannot and will not, even when faced with total object reality of their party
Okay, I didn't know they were in the same place. I thought they were doing FaceTime or something. Okay, cool.
failing, cannot abandon the cause. So a wave of Gen Z unrest fells its first European government. So this is Bulgaria.
Right.
Are you aware of this?
No.
Okay, I'm going to read this to you. Disgruntled Gen Z, this happened literally 5 days ago. Disgruntled Gen Z protesters who have toppled governments and rattled rules across the world this year have claimed their first European victory. Bulgaria's government collapsed Thursday following a wave of youth-driven street protests over entrenched corruption and self-dealing elites, widely seen as disconnected from the struggles of ordinary citizens.
Yes.
Does this sound familiar, people? Well,
Pause. I would have thought that Bangladesh. Was it Bangladesh that burnt down the Parliament House? Was that Bangladesh? Where was that? That was Nepal. It was Nepal. They burnt down the Parliament House. The politicians had to flee.
Yeah.
And that was all due to corruption, etc. And ultimately, the trigger was a banning of social media.
Yes.
And
it was quickly repealed.
Not European, obviously.
Yeah.
So this article is about the first European victim. But yeah, okay. Yeah.
The reason I'm bringing this up is people are like, oh, protesting doesn't work. Protesting in small numbers, of course, doesn't work. You imagine if collectively everyone went enough and you went to the streets. I'm not talking necessarily physically, but you started really amping up. You reckon we can't take down Albanese? Come on. I'm not inciting, just to be clear. What I'm saying is that pressure, that resounding noise around Albo will make firstly his party go, dude, you got to go.
Yeah.
And secondly, if it's loud enough and there's enough people, the Governor General has an obligation to dissolve
It
Parliament.
has to get pretty extreme to be at that point. Let me pick you up on something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Literally every day there will be either a message in my Facebook, Instagram, X, or an email will come through to me with someone with a plan.
Yeah.
And their plan is if everyone just, and it doesn't matter what comes after that, because everyone ain't going to just,
No.
right? What it takes is a catalyst, a flashpoint. The reason why these things happen, I don't know what the cause was there in this European situation, but the trigger in Nepal was the ban on social media.
Yeah.
The trigger in other countries tends to be some sort of a flashpoint event. Someone was a victim of violence from the government or various things, policy changes that outrage people. I remember during COVID, it was the playgrounds. At one point, it was bacon. There was a big outrage over bacon. I can't remember. And the people were putting up the meme of Braveheart. They may take our lives, but they will never take our bacon.
I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was about. But anyway, it's tickling the back of my brain. There needs to be that flashpoint, that catalyst that gets people to go. And at that point, yes, protest serves a purpose. Absolutely. I do think there is a balancing act though, because for example, we've seen weekly protests from the pro-Palestine mob, and ultimately that's proven to be counterproductive. So I think there are seasons during lockdowns, for example, when the government said you're not allowed to protest. 100% protest was the right tool. Was the right strategy. Approaching the next federal election, I think 100% protests are going to be the right strategy once again. Particularly if, as I am increasingly suspecting will happen, if One Nation are having their reform moment, and tragically the events of the weekend are likely to accelerate their and that's not a price I'd be willing to pay, but it's a price that's been paid.
Yeah.
And if that's the result of it, then that is at least a tiny silver lining off the back of a massive tragedy. But I do think we're going to see One Nation growing, and if that happens, I think protests in the lead up to the election, in solidarity with just getting rid of the Uniparty, just saying, hey, enough, guys, let's get a bunch of Labor voters, disillusioned tradies, disillusioned hard workers, people whose dad voted for the Labor Party and granddad voted for the Labor Party, or they arrived as immigrants and they were told the Labor Party's for you, but they can now see through that. They're never going to vote Liberal. They can't bring themselves to vote Liberal, but they could put One Nation at number one.
Yeah.
Right. And if One Nation can come over the top of the Liberal Party in any given lower house seat, so they pick up the Liberal Party preferences, and they've picked up a bunch of Labor voters in first preference votes, where they might vote One Nation and two for the Labor Party. Right. They can't walk away from the Labor Party, but I'm going to put One Nation first.
Yeah.
If we can see a movement like that, this entire country could change radically in less than 2 years.
Just so you guys know.
Oh no.
Oh no, my tinsel. I'll
no.
get up and fix it in a
Not
second.
me tinsel.
To be fair, it wasn't sticking up very well, but I'll try again.
Oh, wow.
It's all right, I'll get up there. I'll fix it.
Okay,
One
you-
Nation. It's
you
60
do
million to
that.
join, and that support could do the world.
Yeah.
They need these numbers. So, I mean, I'm a libertarian, but unfortunately, the libertarians just don't have the foothold.
Yeah.
One Nation currently does. They have the momentum, and
Yep.
I will be signing up.
I'll still be voting number one for the Libertarian Party, and then probably One Nation at number two. They're probably just going to go right in there at number two, and then after that, hopefully it won't matter. Hopefully it'll stick. In the lower house, it's always tricky because you have to get a majority in the lower house. In the Senate, it's proportional, and you can pick up Senate seats much more easily. But
So that's what she's talking about.
Barnaby Joyce has become the lead Senate candidate for New South Wales, or at least that's what they've announced he's going to be. But I stand by my analysis that I gave earlier before that official announcement was made. They need to make him their lead lower house candidate. They need to run him in New England, where he is massively popular, and I think he will probably still hold his seat, especially if One Nation are looking like forming government. The problem they've got is if this is their reform moment, if this is the moment where all of a sudden they are going to start to be viewed as an alternative party of government, then they need someone who can be credible as the alternative prime minister. One of the problems the One Nation Party has always had throughout its history is getting credible candidates. And that's because they had no realistic chance of winning. And so why would anyone credible throw their lot in with them? They'll run with the Nationals, the Liberals, the Greens, or the Labor Party. They're not going to go with One Nation. And so they don't have a lot. They've got good people, let me be clear. They've got good people, but they don't have people with depth. They don't have enough.
Charisma is a big part of it.
Charisma is a big part of it, but they just don't have enough people that understand the game.
Yeah.
Right? When you're campaigning, when you have no political background, the political machine behind you is relatively small and inexperienced. All you've ever done is campaign. If you suddenly win your seat, you don't know what to do with it. And the party doesn't have enough staffers and advisors and so forth to actually make these people effective in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I think he's got a point. I mean, One Nation's always been a pretty small party, but let's say that's something I've even seen it on Twitter and all that, or X, or whatever you want to call it. But they have grown dramatically, and they're going to be needing a lot more members, more people with a bit more pull. Sorry, guys, gotta be a guess. It's the drink. The drink's causing a lot of reflux. I think it's the gotta be an apple cider vinegar in it. The only thing it could be. But yeah, I do agree. I mean, I think the One Nation's got a lot of work.
So they've got a massive credibility problem in the lower house. Having Barnaby Joyce as the alternative prime minister running in the lower house solves a significant amount of that problem. He's been a deputy prime minister. He was there for years. He's been in parliament for a very long time. Pauline Hanson is their leader in the Senate. Barnaby Joyce is their leader in the lower house and potential alternative prime minister. I think that makes their chances of having a reform moment much higher.
Yeah.
Because right now, I think a lot of people would say, well, I'll vote for them in the Senate, but I'm not going to vote for them in the lower house.
Yeah.
Because who are they in the lower
Yeah.
house? So there's nothing there.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot to go on. Can I finish this article just because I think it's worth talking about? So I think I've talked before about revolution, and I know you dismissed me, but Pluto in Aquarius. Last time this happened, 250 years ago. You cannot deny there
I
is.
need another drink if you're going to start talking about star signs.
There is definitely unrest across the globe, and people are rightly pissed off with the elites, pissed off with the politicians, because for too long they've had their snouts in the trough, and they've dismissed people. I mean, even Trump. Like, I'm quite critical of Trump at the moment, because what are you doing to people who are being impacted economically right now?
Yeah.
I understand that we need to step up when there's global issues, but it's like the everyday person has been completely forgotten. So I'm just going to read the rest of this article because I think it's worth talking about. So Bulgaria has become the latest flashpoint in a year marked by Gen Z unrest. Youth protests have felled governments in Nepal and Madagascar in recent months. Demonstrations over perceived privileges enjoyed by political elites have sparked mass rallies in Indonesia and the Philippines. In Tanzania, youth-led anti-government protests were met with lethal government force. The resignation of their coalition government announced Thursday comes just weeks before the Balkan country is due to join the euro area, the European Union's currency union. While Bulgaria's government collapse won't stop its planned January 1st switch, it prolongs a political crisis that has triggered 7 parliamentary elections in just 4 years. So there is definitely an uprising of people who have just had enough. And I think collectively across the world right now, these people have overplayed their hands, and we're starting to see it. I mean, in Australia, I say this all the time, we're so apathetic. But the spending scandal, right? Like Redbridge have come out. Redbridge is the Labour-aligned pollster, Samaras, and he is actually accurate, which is annoying. But I found this article.
It's annoying when they actually do their job.
No, like he is a Labour-leaning guy, but he's accurate, right? So this has come out by your favourite, The Conversation, academic rigour and journalistic flair.
Oh yes.
So Labour maintains
Journalistic flair me harder, Daddy.
They maintain a dominant lead in the Redbridge poll despite expenses claim. Because unfortunately, the left are ideologically bound, and they cannot and will not, even when faced with total object reality of their party failing, cannot abandon the cause.
But they also, what's the alternative? A Susan Lee-led Liberal Party? No. Like I said before they made her leader, that if they make her leader, they are just going deeper into the hole. And guess what's happened since they made her leader? Bada bing, bada boom, I was right.
Yeah. Well, you've survived another episode, and you're still here watching, so at this point, you should probably go.
All right, so that's kind of interesting. I mean, yeah, there isn't really any real good people to choose from in our government at the moment. Labor, I can't trust. Liberal, let's just say Liberal's not doing very well. I mean, the only one, the Greens, I can't stand. The only one I really could vote for is probably One Nation at the moment, and that's sad. As I've said, I think in the video before, I would never vote One Nation. I said that. I think a few years ago I said that, and now look at me, I'm voting One Nation. God damn it! Because I just don't trust the government. The way the government is now, definitely needs to be stubborn. It needs to be a change. But guys, let me know what you think. I'm going to finish it here because I am getting ready to have lunch. Cheers.